Hey, it's Thursday. It's Rumor and Innuendo. I'm Dominic D'Angelo, and this is at freeshows.com. I'm with Robert Karpelis, W creative _ish, former WWE writer, guys, if you weren't aware. But, Robert, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I was born on a snowy Tuesday evening in late December, 2 days after
Ooh.
Christmas. And here I am now, all these years later, to talk the name of this episode. Swerve sure seems evil against Danielson. Um, you are a simple man, Dom,
I
and
am.
I'm glad to have you here. Glad to have those of you here joining us live in the chat. We'll say hi to 6ix9ine, who says hello, kayfabe click. Happy Friday Eve. We are closer and closer to Friday, closer to the weekend, one step closer to All In next weekend. Dre Owens, happy midday. Okada versus Claudio on free TV. Robert, please shred this. Hey, we'll get to that later on in the show. Alt Jake, good morning, everyone. Wasn't there supposed to be an announcement last night? Tony did say there was going to be a big announcement. They have yet to disclose as of the time of this recording, live at 12:02 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, streaming all over the world. What Tony Khan's big announcement is, which we would assume has something to do with a TV deal, maybe has to do with the question Jason Pock has. Happy Thursday, guys. Where's Kiana James?
Where is she?
That is great. And lastly, Stuart Green. Hi, Dom and Robert. Glad to be able to watch an episode live for once. Never miss one, but rarely get to see them live. #1 wrestling pod by far. That is high praise.
I'm a step ahead of you, though, Stuart. Yeah, you don't necessarily get to tune in every time we're not live because sometimes I don't post.
So it happens once in a while, but thankfully, our friends at Turner remembered to air AEW the Dynamite last night, or else we would just be talking WWE and, God forbid, Billy and the CW.
Oh my goodness, I can't. Maybe we'll get to that today, actually, Robert. But yeah, let's get to.
Now I'm intrigued. I didn't look at the rundown. I was literally in an executive meeting until 11:59. And jumped straight from one to the other. So, yeah, I went from discussing Q2 earnings to being here discussing all things all elite.
Yes. Well, let's see how elite it was, Robert. Did you think this Dynamite overall was a pretty good one building towards what they're supposed to be in All In?
So, when we looked at the graphic yesterday, don't put it up. I don't want to have to crank my neck to the side and move. It's very awkward.
This is what he'd have to do, guys, though. Boom. Look at
See,
he'd have to do this. Sorry.
Can't post the podcast, but can post that picture when asked not to. What we said yesterday about it was everyone on there were people we knew. It was all people who go to this high school. And what we saw on Dynamite last night was, I'm just double checking my notes to make sure, every segment on this show had a purpose. That is a huge step forward for AEW. There was not a random 6-man tag. There wasn't international stars that we weren't familiar with just having an exhibition match. Every match, every segment, everything that happened was to forward either a match at All In, a match at All Out, or a match that they're giving away on free TV next week.
That's right. That's right. Do you want to talk about that first? We already alluded
to
it.
John, we've been doing the show for 15, 17 years now. When do we not go chronologically?
I guess that's a fair point.
That's a fair point. I've got my notes up as well because that was your way of being like, I don't know if I have my notes already.
That's it.
Again, it's the way it works. I'm trying to make sense of this hat that you're wearing. It's very confusing. It's not a MAGA hat. I just want to clarify.
Definitely, when I bought this, I didn't think about that, but yes, it's Charlie Crockett, country singer Charlie Crockett. Great.
A household name everywhere in the greater Pittsburgh area, I will assume. I'm not a big country guy.
This is like old school country, though, like Marty Robbins kind of country and stuff. So it's not your modern day country kind of, so to speak. Either way,
there's some modern day country that I don't mind. Like the weirdest thing, and it's wrestling related, so we're good.
Okay.
Brock Lesnar had shown up at a Zach Bryan concert.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know who Zach Bryan was, but I'm like, wait, Brock Lesnar's on stage singing. This was back in December. And I'm listening and I'm like, this is a pretty good song. And then I went into and started listening to more and more of his stuff. And I'm like, this is a really good performer. And then he actually came down here and I was like, that is a really high ticket price. As much as I want to go see, again, guys, I don't leave the house. We got the wife, kids, all that. I'm good here.
Are you going to the show coming up
Monday?
Yeah.
As of now, I'm not, but we'll see. I just found that I have to travel for work, which is how I'm telling you now live on air. In a couple weeks, or a couple days, so I will not be here for a couple days. The week of the 7th. I know. I know. That means just as anyone but Marcus.
Anybody more? I can make that
I don't
happen.
need foul-mouthed Marcus D'Angelo on here just dropping F-bombs right out the gate.
He's loose cannon, if you will.
I was literally walking through the streets of New York when I was on my trip, listening to our show, watching to make sure it was going live. We were on a college campus, taking a tour of the campus, and I heard that, and I repeated it out loud. Surrounded by co-eds walking around the quad, being like, "Oh, what's going on with this? What's going on with this old guy?" And you know what they were probably saying?
What?
They were probably saying, as I'm coughing, you should have muted that. I'm still not that professional. They would have been using that word when they found out that Mercedes Moné was defending her TNT title on free TV.
That's right. It happened. It opened the show. It was a Karashita, and I thought it was a good opener. I thought I think Mercedes. It's really funny because when she's in the ring, she has more charisma when she's in the ring than when she's behind the mic. Like it conveys more. It conveys more in the ring than it does when she's has a microphone in her hand. But yeah, I like this opening match though. Just for TABS Championship, we're building towards Britt Baker, and she comes out. Listen, when her music hit, I thought it more like a rain cloud of all the drama backstage behind anything else. That's the first thought I had in mind when her music hit. But Robert, let's get your thoughts on the match.
Yeah, so solid match. I don't know, in a company that does eliminator matches and tournaments and non-title matches all the time, why we're just giving Shida, who did lose to Britt Baker, is now suddenly getting a TNT title shot.
Yeah.
That seemed a little odd, playing by their own rules. Dre Owens said here, Robert called the entire match. The one thing, a lot, and yes, almost beat for beat, said what was going to happen. The one thing that surprised me is, if I'm Tony, heaven forbid, I'm not that twitchy, but I would have kept Camille stronger.
Yeah.
I don't like how many times she was bested, whether it was by Shida or Britt Baker. She needs to be an unstoppable monster. You can distract. You can have, hey, there's a decoy. Go attack the decoy. And fans, if you go to an AEW show, don't wear a Sting mask, because you might wind up getting beaten up. And yeah, you had the save at the end. This was a fine, by the books way to build your match. We saw Mercedes get a win. It was slightly underhanded, but there was a lot of kendo stick action. There was a lot of back and forth. We got Britt Baker running out. It sure took Britt a long time to get down to the ring, though, Dom.
It did. It took
like
a little
they had that decoy. Even you would have figured it out by that point.
I would have.
Where it's like Camille flips this woman over. The person, we don't know if it was a woman or not. It was a person in a mask. At some point, they would have realized, oh, that's not Britt Baker. Within the 10 minutes it took for Britt to actually make it down to the ring.
Right.
Minor nitpick. Strong, smart way to open the show. Nice to see them opening with a women's match to make that feel important.
I honestly thought it was going to, we didn't get any MJFTs for the show ahead of time, but I still thought MJF might have been involved in the opener in some form or fashion. He wasn't. So, yeah, little change of pace. Next up, we had, I'm scrolling down, Jay Lethal and friends are interviewed backstage, and Jeff Jarrett takes offense to being characterized as a thorn in Hangman Page's side. Jay Lethal talks about whatever Page has with Swerve isn't about him, and Hangman attacks, pulling Jay out of off the stage, beating him down and into the ring for the match. So then we have Hangman Page versus Jay Lethal. Obviously, Hangman Page wins with a buckshot, a little unnecessary. They framed it as too, and furthers things down. Looking like we're gonna get something, at least something with Jarrett and Hangman. And do you like this feud?
Well, no, of course not.
Okay.
It's very much the we're killing time with Hangman. It feels like we're going to get Hangman versus. It's kind of they were teasing Hangman Swerve for All Out in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Not so sure anymore, but that seemed to be the direction that they were going. I like that, they had the interview in the back, and then Hangman jumped Lethal before the match.
Right.
Made it feel urgent, made it feel like, hey, this is really happening. It was a good back and forth match. Jay Lethal, very capable in the ring. He's a guy that, yes, you can beat in this sort of situation. I think Hangman is finding his footing as a heel, and this is the one and only time you get to plug this show. They did name drop one of your co-hosts during that match, Dom.
They did. Magnum TA, they did. Taz brought him up. I was very excited. And I, who better? Magnum TA, he's one of the greatest. I do a podcast with him, Straight Talk with the Boss. Tune in live today, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on ForwardNetwork.com.
Ospreay and MJF were not there in person, but we did get a killer video package. The AEW production folks who put together the video packages on this show, they understood the assignment. They did their homework well. You told the Ospreay MJF story. You got over Ospreay's passion and enthusiasm for what he wants. They showed the footage of MJF at the Revolution Pro match over the weekend, and that Ospreay appeared. I thought this was really well done, Dom.
Yeah, you have to figure out how to make these guys, how this all seems engaging throughout up to All In. And they've already had a match. So how are you going to keep things a little bit fresh, keep it in the mind of people, even if those talents aren't there? And I think this was the right way to do it too. I agree. And yeah, they added the element too that Oku was friends with Ospreay, kind of tied that into the storyline, and I like that as well.
They also brought up the fact that Pac still exists.
Yes.
And now he was mad about winning that glory hole match and not getting his title match.
What did you? I like Pac's delivery, but it's just like, yeah, okay, you're willing for them to just let you wait. That's kind of what it felt like.
It was a lot of like, I was the international champion, #1 contender, and then you take this from me, and now you've taken my Wembley moment. Cool.
Okay,
wrestle in Chicago. Like, wait, what? Like, you fought hard to get this opportunity because you wanted to fight at Wembley. You wanted the international title, which is now they're just letting him call it the American title, and they're just like, sure. They're like maybe it's because the kids are back in school, and I'm just used to like Tony needs to be a principal here. Like, you got to step up. If the kids start calling the teacher, Mrs. Buttface, you can't just change the name on her plaque to Mrs. Buttface. It's not how this works. And Pac would challenge for the Buttface title, except for the fact that he has to wait until All Out in Chicago. So there's that. And then Alt Jake writes, wait, Pac isn't wrestling at Wembley? He could be in the Casino Battle Royal. We don't know, or the Casino Gauntlet match. But as of now, one of your major UK stars is not wrestling in Wembley.
Yes.
Someone who is wrestling in Wembley, Darby Allin. We got a Darby Allin video package. It was shot well. However, man, we've heard this story a lot.
Did you know he was homeless for a little bit, Robert?
I had no idea he was homeless. I wish he would bring that up.
I didn't know either. I think it's wow. It is a journey. I will say that. So I'm glad I know.
It was a journey. Then Darby came out for his match, and Jack Perry jumped him before the match even started. Totally new, totally surprising. Something we had not seen so far on this show was a guy getting jumped before the match begins. They brawled to the back. They pinned him under the grate. Jack Perry was going to crush his skull with a big equipment truck thing.
Who's got more heat right now? Is it Satnam Singh or that door that gets closed on people now? It seems that they really heated that up more as like a big man heel than anything else they might have.
Because the great is more intimidating than a lot of their roster. I can believe a metal great can hold a grown man down. I can't believe Jack Perry could hold a grown man down. But hey, we advanced that story. Good on you. And then we got a Mariah May film. What did you think of this cinematic classic?
Look, I really like this. This might have been my favorite thing of the night, to be honest, because you know, Tony Storm is such a flamboyant character, all out there, but engaging. There's so much stuff that fans get attracted to and stuff like that. But she's crazy. Now we get Mariah May, who's a different kind of crazy, who's a more evil, diabolical kind of crazy, and that you don't want to really mess with. It's like if you got in a relationship with her and then you found this later on, you'd be like, "Uh-oh, I have to get out of this. What am I gonna do?" Now she's there with Tony Storm, and I think it was a perfect kind of compliment. And it wasn't like a parody of what Tony Storm does. It was her own thing, which I liked a lot too.
By the way, for those of you listening, watching, if there was a universe in which Dom was in a relationship with Mariah May,
yes,
I do not envision anything that she could do for Dom to end that relationship.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Yes,
if I pulled up the old How I Met Your Mother crazy hot scale, in terms of you need to be this crazy in order to be this hot, literally, she could have murdered your cat.
No, that would be a deal.
And even worse, uploaded your shows on time, and you'd still be like,
How
all right, I'm
dare
fine with it. I'm fine with it. But it did make Mina Shirakawa sad. And she was there. They flew her all the way from Japan to say, I am sad.
I am sad about this. Yeah, that was. I like the video. The Mina Shirakawa promo was a little. Was that really needed? I don't know.
Like, that's a long flight for a 14-second promo,
right?
But we did get a long three-way dance for the number one entry slot in the Casino Gauntlet match. Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong. Dom, who did I say was going to win?
You said Orange Cassidy was going to win, and sure enough,
What song did I say Orange Cassidy was going to come out to?
That song they played. I can't remember the name of it.
Where Is My Mind by the Pixies.
Thank you. Yes, and they played that.
Kids, we're telling straightforward stories here on AEW, and I'm fine with it.
You know what? I like Kyle O'Reilly's theme. We were asking if he had a good music theme entrance. From what I heard, I liked it. So there's that.
I'm sure he's thrilled. Hey, you know what? Solid match. They brought out the factions. You had a moment with Mark Briscoe, which was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Happy that he got that dive. Ishii holding those guys in place, Taven and Bennett, for about as long as it took Britt Baker to walk down to the ring. Maybe don't keep that on camera as long. Someone in the truck, cut away, please. But hey, Orange Cassidy winning makes sense. We'll get that moment at Wembley.
Yeah,
moment we.
I liked it. I liked it, and I think it's a good. You called it, and I think it's the right move to make too. So,
a moment we did get was Claudio Castagnoli and Kazuchika Okada.
Yes, I did predict that Okada would call him a bitch, and he did. So I had that for me, Robert.
He did call him a bitch.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That was a thing that happened on TV.
What did you think of this?
So I was surprised that this match is not taking place at All In.
Mm-hmm.
We had talked about here and on Working Stiff the fact that I believe Claudio is scheduled to be wrestling in Mexico right before All In, so there was a chance he wasn't going to be able to make it for the pay-per-view. This felt like a match that belonged on All In. It's Okada wrestling in Wembley.
Mm-hmm.
It's a major European star wrestling at Wembley. Instead, this is going to be your Cardiff main event.
Mm-hmm.
It is still Europe. You're theoretically servicing those fans. I question the logic of why this wouldn't be part of your pay-per-view, but I guess you want to give a big match for your Dynamite show next week. Oh, Okada saying bitch, crowd pops because they think it's funny. Claudio saying, like, that's not the dude I want. I want the Rainmaker. We may wind up getting like a 25-minute classic next week on free TV.
Yeah.
So for as illogical as this is, for as dumb as this is, for as baffling a decision as this is, we'll be eating well next week because of that.
I agree. I just talked about the Mariah May promo too, or the vignette, and what Claudio said in that promo, I really liked though too. I thought that was great. It was just, it's just weird that it's going on free TV, but what he had to say and how he kind of spun it back around, and what a lot of people are thinking, hey, we won't want this funny, like I'm friends with the Young Bucks Okada. We want ass kicker Okada, and he kind of spoke for everybody. So I like that. And it was cool. He turned the bitch around on him too. So I like that a lot as well. So good promo.
He turned the bitch around.
That sounds.
And guys, nope, not on our today. Yeah. No, I'm sorry. That was offensive and horrible. What was the next segment, Dom?
Let me take a look. Oh my God, I have the old lineup written up.
Dude, it was all teed up when I said offensive and horrible. What was the most offensive and horrible thing that we saw? No, not the patriarchy. I'm talking about the next real segment. The patriarchy. That's promoting Collision, Dom.
That was fun though. I really like Christian Cage. He's great heel. Is it Hook? I think it's Hook next.
It's Hook.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Hook comes out and he wants a piece of Jericho right now. Well, he doesn't get it. He does get a match upcoming with Big Bill. And then Hook uses one of Jericho's classics lines, even puts the accentuation on the again part of it. But Robert, what did you... I know this is your favorite part of the show week in and week out. Did this really hammer home more for you coming up at All In? They're going to have a match at All In too, Robert.
Hook was one of the best booked characters AEW had for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
He comes out, his hair is disheveled, he doesn't talk, he beats the hell out of somebody, he goes to the back. Occasionally he eats chips.
Yes.
That worked. Hey, Dom, you know what didn't work?
What?
Letting Hook talk. Hook sounded like an extra from Newsies. There was nothing intimidating. Hey, mister, I'm going to kick your ass at the thing, and then you're going to buy a paper from me before FDR shows up. It was so bad. It was so bad that I was almost hoping for Jericho to show up. Do you have any idea how uncomfortable a promo needs to be for me to say, you know what might save this? Learning Tree Chris Jericho. But good news, kids. Jericho came out and did not save this. He started with goofy Eugene voice Jericho and then immediately turned into like normal Jericho.
It was strange.
Dude, I love Taz. I'm slightly scared of Taz. Oh my God. This never needs to happen again. Mm-hmm. This could have been, he comes out and says like 5 words. He's got the eye patch. He's angry. He's pacing around and he just says, Jericho, Wembley. That's all he needed to say.
That's it.
Instead, you totally overexposed this guy. Ah, man, I like Hook a lot, and
I do too.
This was not the right time. But you know what is the most valuable thing, Dom? It is time.
It is.
Managing and worrying about things like body odor used to take up a lot of my time. I know it takes up a lot of your time. You actively go to the gym on a daily basis. You post it on Facebook, your gains. And I'm sure that when you're always posing for pictures after with a bunch of the folks that are there, your boxing crew. And I'm sure you're worrying about that smell. You know, and you're taking a lot of time to make sure you don't have that. Why are you talking over me when I'm trying to promote this, dude? We're trying to make this natural conversational. You're just stepping all over this.
I'm trying to.
You know what you should be focusing on right now? You know what it is? You know why you have this time to interrupt me? Because you're not worrying about your body odor. Because it was extremely time consuming, but not anymore. Because since you and I have switched to Mando whole body deodorant, we have freed up so much time, which means more time to catch up on wrestling. It's effective and long lasting. Here's why. Mando doesn't cover up odor after the fact with heavy fragrances. It's, again, fragrances. Why is this word haunting me?
I love
This
that.
is my WWE. This is my albatross, guys. But they don't use heavy fragrances like certain other deodorants. This stops odor at the source by blocking the bacteria on your skin from eating your sweat, which is the actual cause of body odor. What does that mean? It means Mando is clinically proven to control odor for up to 72 hours. That's longer than we've gone without Dom botching a podcast update. Give yourself the precious gift of time and get yourself some Mando whole body deodorant. We have a special offer. New customers get $5 off Mando's best-selling starter pack with code RUMOR at shopmando.com. I got my shipment this past weekend. Dom got his this past weekend. And as I have talked about repeatedly, because I used it again today, that bourbon leather body wash is a damn home run. It is the opposite of the Learning Tree Chris Jericho gimmick. This is a whole body deodorant. It is safe to use anywhere on your body, including the part that Gorilla Monsoon would call your external occipital protuberance.
Ooh.
This was created by a doctor who saw firsthand how normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated, like allowing Hook to deliver a promo. This is American made. It is aluminum free, baking soda free, cruelty free, dye free, and vegan. It is clinically proven to control odor better than a shower with soap alone. 12 hours after the shower, I know this is your favorite part, Dom. I'm going to talk about your grundle. The average man's grundle, and you are as average a man as it comes, is usually a 5 out of 10. With Mando, that odor level goes to a 0 out of 10. Mando starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice, and free shipping when you use our code. That discount code that equates to over 40% off your starter pack is code RUMOR at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com.
Yeah, Mando. I love Mando. Mount Fuji, guys. Check that one out, too.
You know what people love? Ron Ward. Like I said, I come for the professionalism. I stay for the Dom bashing. We only roast the ones we love. That is the rule here on what is not, it's not Wrestle Roasts. It was Wrestle Roasts. Now it was working stiff, but now this is Rumor and Innuendo. We've got a couple segments left, Dom. We get the Young Bucks versus the Acclaimed, and believe it or not, I hope you're sitting down. Before the match begins, one team jumps the other team.
No.
If this was a video game, you would be on message boards claiming there's a glitch. 3 matches on this show start with somebody jumping somebody else during an entrance.
There's other ways to do this, Robert. You know, there's other ways. They don't have to. Not everybody has to attack everybody before a match. Get a little.
Apparently they do.
Jeez.
Apparently they do.
What'd you think?
Match was fine.
Mm-hmm.
Match was fine. It was a good, solid match. FTR comes out. You think that Dax is going to hit him with the belt. He doesn't hit him with the belt. They instead all start brawling. The Acclaimed hate FTR. FTR hate the Bucks. Everybody hates each other. It's almost like we're setting up a triple threat tag match at Wembley, Dom. Almost.
Yes.
But you know who had the time of their life?
Who?
Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, what'd you think of that? I love that song. I like Green Day a lot. I love Bryan Danielson. It did hit a little bit, but it also felt like when you do those kind of video packages with that song in particular, it feels like the end. This doesn't really feel like the end for me, right? For Bryan Danielson.
When that was over, I was sad that Bryan Danielson, I guess, passed away. Like, that was the vibe that video gave. So, positives with that video. I have been waiting for AEW since they first bought the Ring of Honor library to leverage that footage to tell stories about their talent. Being able to show footage of Bryan in ROH, showing him in New Japan, showing that Wrestling Road Diaries, which I don't know if you ever watched that with him and Colt Cabana.
No, I haven't.
It's incredible. It was during the time when Bryan was fired from the WWF or WWE when he choked out Justin Roberts, and he went back to the Indies. And the great thing about that, and I don't think that they meant for this to be the takeaway here, is he's doing this indie tour as sort of like a farewell to the Indies. And he's riding in the car with Colt, and Colt's like, man, you gave this really great heartfelt promo. And Brian's like, oh, it's all BS. I can just give this fake emotional, oh, thank you guys. I did this for the fans. I love you all every week. I don't mean a word of it. And that's all I thought of while watching this incredibly sentimental video, that no, he knows what he's doing. This is all shtick. In the main event on the overrun, because we're at an overrun because it's 12:31, Swerve and Wheeler Yuta, quick match, fast-paced match. Swerve kept kicking him in the head and then punching him in the head because Yuta had a head injury. And believe it or not, no one saw this coming, Dom. After the match, Swerve took it too far. Brian had to come in the ring to stop him. No one predicted that yesterday.
Nobody. Nobody that I can think of, that doesn't write for the show.
I swear I'm not writing Dynamite. I don't want that on around my neck. That'll be my other albatross outside of the word fragrance. But something you can catch later on today is myself and Scott Chaplin on Working Stiff. That'll be coming out on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get podcasts. Same place you can hopefully, theoretically, maybe, possibly get the audio version of Rumor and Innuendo.
Oh, yeah, you'll get it.
We'll see. But you can also catch us live every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a plethora of platforms, including the WW Creative _ish X account, the SE Scoops X account, on YouTube, on Rumor and Innuendo, Working Stiff, and for some reason not on ad-free shows today, but maybe we'll be back on there tomorrow. Did you forget to click the button? Don forgot to click the button. God bless you. You are the best. I'm gonna give it because it's now the new slogan of the show and people love it. Damn it, Tom. So on behalf of the guy who didn't realize he was wearing a red hat, Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Charlie Crockett, Midnight Run. Listen to it.